Never ever it does. It's just for the security. So then we see how the Russian army advances, taking small villages or sometimes towns, leaving thousands of their soldiers unalived, leaving their scrap metal everywhere. It is not winning. It is called a slow, gradual destruction of the Russian economy. Well, you may say that Ukraine has the same issue, but Ukraine still has the support from the allies. And yes, Ukraine also has a debt, but Ukraine has the prospects for the integration into the European Union, for example, which will potentially open a new markets for Ukraine. Ukraine is not the isolated country, and Ukraine has lots of the natural resources. Yeah, Russia also has, but the markets for Russia in European Union in West are basically closed. And recently Ukraine cut the gas supplies from Russia to Europe. It was a very major step to hurt the Russian economy even more. Well, Russia may still sell their gas partially via the Balkan pipeline. However, that pipeline is not providing enough gas to compensate Russian Gazprom losses to pump that gas and to deliver to Europe. That's why the Russian Gazprom Corporation now is in a deep, big, huge crisis. It is understandable that those guys work on the Russian side. It is not the interest of Hungary or Slovakia to receive the Russian gas. It is interest of Vladimir Putin to continue to support his war in Ukraine. While Russia exports lots of their oil through the shadow fleet, so-called shadow fleet, but recently the sanctions were applied on, so the Russian oil export is blocked in the third countries as well. Now they're trying to figure out new solutions of how to sell their oil. And the recent investigation shown that the European ship owners helped build Russia's shadow fleet. It's just business, they say, and there are lots of the schemes to help Russia to avoid sanctions. But in general, from what I see, little by little, but the Western countries cut those support cables for the Russian economy. The thing is that Russia still has the main partner, China, which is providing a very substantial military support to Russia, sending military gear, some of the vehicles even. For example, we know about the legendary China Golf cards. Also, Russia uses communication equipment. All of the radios were sent by China. And also China purchases lots of the Russian resources. However, Russia had to lower the prices for their oil and other products, because China may purchase oil from other countries without those shadow fleet schemes. So Russia had to put a lower price for China to be interested in their oil. But it is not just about oil, it's about mostly everything that Russia supplies. So China potentially may keep Russian economy floating at some level, not letting it to collapse fully, but with some time and more sanctions, even China is useless here. Putin always says that he was the one who took Russia from the crisis of 90s. But in fact, it's not like that. It was just the crisis after the Soviet Union collapse, and the markets had to have some of the time to get used to the new environment. 90s were crazy for most of the ex-Soviet Union countries, but first of all for Russia. Huge crime rates, poverty, no jobs, the currency was nothing. But after a while Russia definitely managed to handle it. But now Putin destroyed all of the Russian perspectives by starting the war in Ukraine.